Have you ever stopped and asked yourself a question you never thought you'd have to ask? Not whether you're getting older, because everyone does, but whether your body still responds the way it once did. Maybe there was a time when desire felt effortless, your energy came naturally, and confidence never had to be questioned. Then, little by little, something changed. It wasn't dramatic. It happened so gradually that most men barely noticed it until one day they realized their bodies simply didn't feel the same anymore. Surprising part is that many people immediately blame age. But what if that's only part of the story? What if some of the everyday choices you make, including what you eat, play a much bigger role than you realize? Stay with me, because before this video is over, we'll discover why many urologists pay close attention to circulation, nutrition, and vascular health when discussing male vitality. And one food in particular often enters that conversation for a fascinating reason. Most men assume that getting older automatically means accepting weaker performance, less sensitivity, and lower confidence. It's an easy conclusion because it's repeated so often that it almost sounds like a law of nature. But that's where the story becomes more interesting. While aging certainly changes the body, it doesn't affect everyone in exactly the same way. You've probably met men in their 60s or 70s who still seem energetic, active, and full of life, while others feel years older than their actual age. That contrast raises an important question. If the calendar alone doesn't explain the difference, what does? To answer that, we have to look beneath the surface. The male body depends on an extraordinary network of blood vessels, nerves, hormones, and chemical messengers that work together every second without asking for attention. Most of the time, you never notice this system because it performs quietly in the background. But when one piece begins to slow down, the effects often become impossible to ignore. What many people experience isn't the result of one dramatic failure. It's the result of countless tiny changes accumulating over years. And that's exactly why understanding those changes matters so much. Imagine your circulatory system as an enormous highway stretching throughout your body. Every heartbeat sends oxygen and nutrients racing toward muscles, organs, and tissues that depend on them. When traffic moves freely, everything functions efficiently. But if those highways gradually become less flexible or more congested, delivery slows. The destination still receives supplies, just not as quickly or as effectively. That simple idea helps explain why cardiovascular health is closely connected to overall well-being, including sexual health. One of the most important players in this process is something many people have never heard of until they visit a doctor's office: nitric oxide. It isn't a vitamin or a supplement. It's a naturally produced signaling molecule that helps blood vessels relax so blood can flow more efficiently. When enough nitric oxide is available, circulation responds more effectively to the body's needs. When production declines or blood vessel health suffers, the entire system may not perform as efficiently as it once did. That's why researchers continue studying ways lifestyle habits, including exercise, sleep, and nutrition, may influence vascular function. Now, here's where the conversation becomes especially interesting. Many people spend enormous amounts of money searching for miracle solutions while overlooking something far more basic. Every single day, they sit down for breakfast, lunch, dinner without realizing those meals are constantly interacting with the same systems responsible for heart health, metabolism, inflammation, and circulation. Food isn't magic, but it is information. Every bite tells your body something. Over time, those messages begin shaping how efficiently the body operates. That doesn't mean one meal changes your life overnight. It doesn't mean a single ingredient suddenly rewinds the clock by 20 years. Real biology rarely works that way. Instead, health is usually built through small choices repeated consistently over weeks, months, and years. That's far less exciting than miracle promises, but it's also far more empowering. Because if everyday habits help shape the problem, everyday habits may also become part of the solution. I've spent years speaking with men who quietly carried these concerns without discussing them even with close friends. They often believed they were the only ones experiencing changes in confidence, energy, or performance. Truth is very different. Millions of men ask these same questions, yet very few conversations happen openly. That silence often leads people toward internet myths, miracle cures, and expensive products promising impossible results. Unfortunately, the louder the promise, the weaker the evidence often becomes. That's why today's discussion isn't about chasing shortcuts. It's about understanding why certain foods repeatedly appear in conversations about cardiovascular health and why researchers continue exploring their potential role in supporting healthy circulation. Some of these foods have been part of traditional diets for generations, but others have attracted scientific interest because of the natural compounds they contain. None should be viewed as magic. Instead, Think of them as tools that may support the body's existing systems when combined with healthy habits. And that brings us to the first food on today's list, one that surprises many people because it looks ordinary sitting in the produce section of the grocery store. Bright red, earthy, and often overlooked, beets rarely receive the attention given to trendy supplements. Yet scientists have spent years studying them for one very specific reason: beets naturally contain dietary nitrates. After you eat them, your body can convert those nitrates through a series of biological steps into nitric oxide. Remember that signaling molecule we discussed earlier? This is why beets appear so frequently in research related to exercise performance and vascular function. The idea isn't that beets perform miracles. Rather, they're one dietary source that may help support the body's natural nitric oxide production as part of an overall healthy diet. Think about what that means. If healthy circulation is one piece of the larger puzzle, then supporting blood vessel function becomes important not only for athletic performance or heart health, but potentially for many aspects of physical function. That's why endurance athletes sometimes drink beet juice before competitions. They're not expecting magic. They're simply trying to support the body's natural physiology. What's fascinating is that many people overlook these simple nutritional strategies because they're searching for dramatic answers. Yet biology usually rewards consistency over intensity. A healthy pattern followed for months often accomplishes more than a dramatic intervention followed for only a week. Of course, circulation isn't the only factor involved. Hormones, nerve function, sleep quality, stress, body weight, physical activity, and chronic medical conditions all play important roles. That's exactly why no single food can solve every problem. But when multiple healthy habits work together, their combined effect can become much more meaningful than any one habit alone. And that's only the beginning, because the next food on our list doesn't just attract attention for its potential effects on circulation. It has also become the subject of research involving antioxidants and compounds that may help support vascular health in an entirely different way. Surprisingly, something many people already enjoy, but often in the wrong form. Before we get there, you'll want to understand why the difference between ordinary chocolate and high-quality dark chocolate may be much greater than most people realize. By now, you've probably noticed a pattern. None of these foods works because they're magical. They matter because they support the systems your body already depends on. And that brings us to another surprising favorite, dark chocolate. Not the sugar-loaded candy bars found at the checkout counter, but quality dark chocolate with a high cocoa content. Researchers have long been interested in cocoa because it's rich in flavonoids, plant compounds associated with healthy blood vessel function and reduced oxidative stress. In other words, it's another reminder that what you eat can influence far more than your waistline, but circulation is only one piece of the puzzle. Hormones also play an important role, which is why foods naturally rich in zinc, such as oysters, pumpkin seeds, beans, and lean meats, often appear in conversations about men's health. Zinc supports many essential processes in the body, including normal testosterone production. That doesn't mean eating one serving creates overnight changes, but maintaining adequate nutrition gives your body the resources it needs to function as intended. Next comes one of nature's most refreshing surprises, watermelon. Hidden inside this familiar fruit is citrulline, an amino acid the body can convert into arginine, a building block involved in nitric oxide production. Scientists continue to study this pathway because of its relationship with healthy circulation. While it's not a replacement for medical treatment when problems exist, it shows how everyday foods can become part of a broader strategy for supporting vascular health. Another often overlooked choice is walnuts. Rich in healthy fats and other beneficial nutrients, they contribute to heart health and may support the nervous system. Healthy nerves and healthy blood vessels work together every day, making them essential partners in overall physical function. Sometimes the biggest improvements don't come from adding something extraordinary, but from consistently choosing foods that nourish the body over time. Finally, there's pomegranate. For centuries, it has symbolized vitality, and modern research has explored its impressive antioxidant content. Antioxidants help protect cells from oxidative stress, while a heart-friendly eating pattern supports the blood vessels that deliver oxygen and nutrients throughout the body. It's another example of how long-term habits can quietly shape long-term health. So what's the real takeaway? It's not that one food can turn back the clock, it's that your body is constantly responding to the choices you make every day. Healthy circulation, balanced nutrition, regular physical activity, quality sleep, stress management, and routine medical care all work together. When these habits improve, many men notice positive changes in their energy, confidence, and overall well-being. If there's one message I hope you remember, it's this. Growing older doesn't mean giving up on your health. Your body continues to adapt throughout life, and every healthy decision is an investment in the years ahead. Start with one simple change this week. Add one nutrient-rich food to your meals. Take a walk after dinner. Schedule that overdue checkup. Small, consistent actions often create the biggest transformations. If you found this discussion helpful, subscribe for more evidence-based men's health content and share this video with someone who could benefit from it. Your future health isn't decided by your age alone. It's shaped by the choices you begin making today.